A shy waitress signed to the billionaire as stepmother, and his reaction broke everyone's heart. Those were the whispered words that spread across the crowded restaurant like a warm breeze. People didn't know exactly what had happened at first. They just knew something extraordinary was unfolding near table 7, where a timid waitress stood facing a woman with silver hair and kind, quiet eyes. Her name was Elena, a 22-year-old waitress who never liked to be noticed. She kept her hair tied back, avoided eye contact, and moved gently through the restaurant, like someone trying not to disturb the world around her. She wasn't the type of person anyone remembered, except for her smile, small and shy but real. On that particular afternoon, the restaurant buzzed louder than usual. A billionaire, Adrian, wolf, cold, intimidating, and constantly surrounded by tabloids, had entered with his elderly mother, Margaret, who was deaf from birth. Every employee whispered nervously that day. Everyone feared him. Everyone feared doing something wrong. Everyone except Elena. She didn't even know who he was. She simply saw a woman who needed kindness. When Elena approached the table, Margaret struggled to read the menu. Adrian tapped impatiently on the table, clearly frustrated, clearly stressed, clearly wishing his mother would just figure it out. But Margaret's hands shook and her eyes lowered in embarrassment. Elena recognized that feeling instantly. She had lived with it her whole life. So she did something no one expected. She placed the menu down gently and began signing. Margaret's eyes widened, then filled with light, joy, and complete surprise. Elena signed slowly, softly. "Do you want me to read the menu to you?" Her hands moved with the fluency of someone who had spent years speaking with silence. Margaret touched her arm, tears already forming. She signed back. "You know sign language?" Elena nodded, smiling nervously. "My little brother is deaf," she signed. "I learned so he wouldn't feel alone." The restaurant froze. Adrian looked up sharply, stunned, his cold expression faltering. For a man who was used to controlling rooms, companies, and conversations, being left out of something so human felt like having the ground pulled from under him. Margaret laughed silently and held Elena's hands in gratitude. Elena laughed too, relieved, and for a moment the entire room felt softer, warmer. Even viewers of this story, listening from afar, might feel a pull to stay and see what happens next. Elena translated the entire menu, signing each option beautifully, while Margaret nodded enthusiastically. Adrian watched, confused, emotional, almost angry at himself for feeling anything. He finally spoke. "How did you learn that?" he asked stiffly. Elena answered shyly. "My brother. He's 13. When our mom left, I became responsible for him." That hit something inside Adrian. He said nothing more through the meal. He simply watched, observed, studied. It was the first time in years that someone had shown his mother effortless kindness without doing it for money, attention, or status. And then the twist began. Margaret signed something long to Elena, smiling with mischief. Elena blushed, then translated. "She sees. She wants to hire me as a personal assistant." Adrian froze. Mother Margaret waved him off. Elena shook her head quickly. "Oh, no, I couldn't. I have my brother. I work 2 jobs. Adrian interrupted. "We can pay." But Elena raised her hand kindly. "It's not about the money." The restaurant fell silent again. That sentence alone stunned everyone. Not about the money? In front of a billionaire. Adrian looked at her differently now, not as a waitress, not as someone beneath him, but as someone rare. He asked quietly, "Can you step outside for a moment?" Elena hesitated, but followed him out to the garden patio. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows, and the breeze rustled the leaves. He took a deep breath. Something shifted in him. "You're the first person I've seen speak to my mother without pity," he said. "Or fear, or an agenda." Alina shrugged gently. "She's just a person who deserves to be spoken to." Those words cracked something open inside him. "Can I ask you something?" he said. "Of course. Why are you so kind?" Alina smiled faintly. "Because I know what it's like when no one is." Before he could respond, Margaret stepped outside, signing rapidly not to Alina, but to him. Alina translated softly. "She says she wants you to tell me the truth. All of it." Adrian swallowed hard. His mother nodded firmly, so he confessed. "My mother wasn't born deaf," he said quietly. "She lost her hearing when she saved me from drowning when I was a child. I panicked in the water. She jumped in after me, hit her head on a rock, and she's never heard a sound since." Alina covered her mouth, tears forming. "She never complains," he continued. "Never blames me. But I've never forgiven myself. I always feel like I owe her the world, and I keep failing." Alina shook her head. "You're not failing. You're protecting her. She just wants you to speak her language." That sentence, simple, soft, broke him. He had spent millions on gifts, treatment, guards, luxuries, but never bothered to learn the one language she truly needed. Suddenly, Margaret reached out and signed to him. Again slow, patient, loving. Alina translated with trembling hands. "She says this is the first time she has seen you look like the boy she raised." Adrian's face collapsed. He hugged his mother tightly. She held him just as fiercely. And then something even bigger happened. Margaret pulled Alina into the hug too. The billionaire's mother, who spoke through silence, signed a single sentence with tears streaming down her face. Alina translated it, barely able to speak. "Please, join our family." Adrian stepped back, stunned. "Mother, what are you?" But Margaret insisted. Signed again. "Not hire her. Not help us. Join us. Become part of us." Elena's knees nearly gave out. No one had ever wanted her like that. No one had ever opened the door so wide, she whispered, voice breaking. "I don't know what to say." Margaret smiled and signed. "Just say yes when your heart feels safe." The moment wrapped around them like warm light. And as the sun set behind them, painting gold across the patio, Adrian whispered, "Let us be the ones to help you for once." The restaurant watched from inside, breathless, witnessing three broken people forming something whole again. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, subscribe, and of course, watch the next video that's appearing right now on your screen. Ready for another emotional story?